What's up, Doom Nation? Welcome back once again to another Doomed review. We have a very special guest, a very special friend, old Jerry, a.k.a. JPlay.
Me? Hi.
You've seen him on some of our other reviews, reviewing cigars. You know, like the sponsor of Patriot Cigar Company. But we're doing a review today. You want to tell him?
Yes, we're going to review, I guess, She-Hulk, the entire first season.
What a season it was.
Yeah, so this might be a little bit different. First of all, let's really shit on Danny for not showing up.
Yes.
So this was supposed to be more of a...
Two-on-two?
Debate, almost,
Yes.
I guess you could say.
That's a handicap match.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, so we're going to review She-Hulk. Just to start off, me and Chris did not like it, I guess. You did like it.
I did.
Yeah, so I don't know, how do we want to do this?
I have some mixed reviews. So I'm in the middle here, kind of. But at the end of the day, so let's start. You're the one that likes it. I want to get it from your perspective. So maybe we could learn something and understand.
Yeah.
So you said something last night that I'm sure you'll bring up, and we'll go over it in that time. But like, I see some of it, but the rest of it, I have very mixed reviews. So let's get your perspective, see what we can learn. And then we'll poo-poo on the parade.
And then we will shove it down your throat. All right. I don't know. Do we want to go like episode by episode? Overarching? What do we want
I mean,
to
it's
do?
going to be hard to do because nothing happens in so many episodes.
Yeah.
So you could go ahead, go episode by
I
episode.
feel like-
I mean,
I
if you
feel
want to
different.
give
I
us
feel
your
different.
overview of episode 1, I say yeah. Because episode 1, let's be real, like, that's the only episode you can't be too critical on. We had nothing to compare it to. We knew there was woke bullshit in
It's probably
it.
the most critical.
Yeah. I know, and I understand that, but
I know
like,
what part exactly you're talking
and
about.
I understand that, but like, let's start at episode 1 and then give us your overarching.
All right. So I didn't know much about She-Hulk going into it.
Yep, I did research too as it went on.
As it went on. Towards the end, that's when I was like, let me see what's really like sticking with the comics and stuff versus like what liberties they're taking because it's a show. Obviously, you can't be spot on exactly. Cool. She got her powers in a car crash with the Hulk, who at the time is Bruce because he has the little inhibitor on him. Cool. That's fine. Why did she become Hulk? Well, they're related, so that makes sense. Like, they have something in their DNA that they share, that she doesn't die from gamma radiation, whatever. Cool. And then it goes into, like, she's in the courtroom, she's Jen, and what the hell is her name? Titania, whatever.
Yeah.
Comes in.
This is all in episode 1 still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in the courtroom, and then she's like, Jen, you gotta change. And she turns into She-Hulk and stops her. So it's like, cool.
With the old school kung fu kick.
Yeah.
Single frame.
The show is not a normal superhero show.
No.
Correct.
Definitely. It is a... And they try to poke fun and say it like often that it's like a Law and Order show, not a... Or like a lawyer show.
So, all right, forget about going episode by episode,
Yeah.
obviously, because it's going to be tough. At the end of it all, obviously, Jen comes out and says it herself, like, this is my show, and it's a comedic law show, like, in certain words. Like, she didn't say it exactly like that.
Can't be me. One of my phones is a camera.
No, it's my work phone.
All right.
Sorry. I'm not working right now.
All right, what were we saying?
Anyway, yeah,
It's her show.
It's her show. So it's not the normal Marvel, like, all right, here's the bad guy. We're going to go, we lost to him for a little bit, and now we're going to regroup and now beat him. Because typically that's like the Marvel structure. You have the origin of who she was as the lawyer and everything. And now she's a superhero, and she's learning how to be She-Hulk and the lawyer, because she wants to be the lawyer. She wants to be known and seen as Jen Walters, but obviously now she's She-Hulk, so she's got to be seen as She-Hulk too. And she really doesn't get that lesson until we finally see Mr. Daredevil come back, and he explains that to her, like, there's a fine line when the law works and when the law doesn't work. So when the law doesn't work, obviously, that's when you get Daredevil. When the law works, you get Matt Murdock. I don't know.
That makes good sense. That makes I must have missed that part.
No,
I don't remember that scene.
Yeah, when they're in the bar.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. This is her show. Mm-hmm. This is a Law and Order type show. When justice fails is when She-Hulk comes out. This is very similar to Daredevil, mm-hmm. and I enjoyed Daredevil. I truly did.
We all.
Yes, he didn't, and I can't. That's something I can't wait to hear about as well. We'll get to that.
I'm talking about like Daredevil Netflix.
No, I like Daredevil.
Yeah. Netflix. Daredevil Netflix is still one of... I was actually rewatching The Defenders, mm-hmm. and I got to say, Jessica Jones and the Iron Fist have zero rewatchability, but boy, does Daredevil... Mm-hmm. And Daredevil Season 2, when the Punisher enters, mm-hmm. a lot of rewatchability over there.
Punisher was really good, too.
Yes, it was. So I enjoyed the Daredevil in this universe. Yep. But my big pet peeve is this was a lot of wasted time.
Well, they were only half-hour episodes.
Wasted time.
Why wasted time?
Still wasting my time. Now I get it. It's her show. Yada yada. Mm-hmm. Great. But like, we are in. I almost felt like a member of the Marvel universe. Like, I'm not a superhero, and I can't do anything to make this universe better. And now this is who we got to fucking count on. This shit sucks. Well, it was, to me, it was a waste of time. At least, like, put a little Kang or something in there. And you always brought up, like, oh, the story for Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't that good.
Oh, I thought it was great.
But there was episodes we didn't rate that high.
Yeah.
And I could see why you said that, because it was a poor story arc. Mm-hmm. This, to me, felt like such a waste of time. We... On this particular review of Disney Plus shows, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel, has been screaming from the mountaintops, 6 episodes is not enough. You're cramming too much into 6 episodes. So we get 9 episodes, and you start the story at episode 8. You waste our time for at least 6 fucking episodes.
I didn't look at it that way.
I'm not here to watch a comedy or a Marvel law show. I'm here to be invested into the next phase of Marvel. You look at Iron Man 1, and then you look at this, and it's we're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
But you're looking at a movie versus a TV show. So
I get it, but there's
this ends up costing you more time than a movie does.
That's why I'm saying it's a waste of time.
Okay.
And
I can see that. But...
And if you look at the vibe of Iron Man 1 and then She-Hulk, and you're saying you're comparing a movie to, look at the vibe of fucking Loki.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And from moving forward, like for Black Panther, I have to hear from like reliable sources that like it's fucking good before I spend money to go see the movie. But when Loki season 2 comes out, no problem, play.
I get that.
I'm not moving forward until I know this shit's good. Because this could have been a waste of time. Mm-hmm. This was him in a different universe. He had already died in our timeline. Mm-hmm. This is what he did in between. Mm-hmm. And we got a fantastic story that expanded the universe. This was a waste. She-Hulk was a waste of time.
So, but you got to look at it from the other point of view of there's other things happening.
Yes, but
why are we supposed to watch this stuff? So I don't understand. Like, my time as a person is limited in how much stuff I can watch. And you've made a show that's essentially, I've said this before, it's Seinfeld in the MCU, except it's not good. Like, Seinfeld was actually an entertaining show. This wasn't. So it's just like a person, and time is just like days are going by, and like stuff that is inconsequential to anything is occurring. And now, like, again, in my real life, I have like a very limited amount of time to do anything. I now committed, I don't know, 4.5 hours of my life to a story about nothing.
Going to a wedding.
And it's sold to me as if it's like an important cog in the Marvel universe. Yeah. And I guess you could say it kind of is towards the end. And it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. If you want to go at the end, I don't know.
Well, but look at it this way. You keep saying that it's a waste of time.
Yes.
So
it's a waste of my actual time in real life, and it's a waste of time in the MCU.
Yeah.
When like they could have been developing something else, they developed nothing. But like I'm like, put aside the woke stuff. I'm not even talking about the woke stuff.
I haven't even begun into
that.
Right.
That's already bad. But it's just I don't know what like 6 episodes where literally nothing besides her like sprouting into existence, and then you looking at her on a television for 30 minutes at a pop. Nothing actually occurs that means anything.
So I want you to get your point in, but what Skaggs is trying to say is we had an episode of her doing. So we got an Abomination case. They didn't do much with that. It was cool. It had Juan in it, but it wasn't great. Then we had Tinder dates, a wedding, and a hookup. And then finally we got Daredevil kicking ass.
And I know what you're trying to say, that it's a different show, right? But I don't watch the Marvel Universe for Law and Order. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go watch Law and Order for that.
I get that.
But they're selling it, though, as the most, like, this is an important cog in everything else you need to see. So if you don't see it, you'll not know the next thing. Right? But you probably won't now, because it's at the ending, right? So you kind of, like, have to watch this. So it's almost like they hold you hostage to watch something you don't even want to watch, but you have to for continuity. Or you do what I did. I cringe watched it. Yeah. I hated every moment of it, and I started to get excited as to how bad the next episode was going to get. And then when it was like rewarding to me how bad it got.
All right, so
that's the way I looked at it.
Go on your rant.
They knew that they were going to get backlash because as soon as
they wrote this story, understanding that this sucked. That's how bad it was.
That's a problem.
Well, they wrote in like because they already had the Twitter responses that they ended up posting and this and that. And they make the joke about when we have Wong in an episode, everything's good and people love it.
No, that was the worst episode.
What?
To me, the first episode with Wong was the worst episode.
What? But
go ahead.
What? When Johnny Blaze?
What I'm saying is no. That's not the first episode. Wong was in the first episode.
What about Johnny Blaze?
You're trying to say
Johnny Blaze. No, Johnny Blaze.
You're trying to say that when Wong is in an episode, we'd like the show more.
That's what their commentary is in the show.
We had a whole episode though on fan baiting. That's exactly
what that is. Like those were some of the worst episodes.
But he's still part of it because remember in what was it?
10 Rings.
In 10 Rings, they had Wong,
and it was nice. So this is where so I'm glad you brought something like this up. This is where I have mixed reviews because they didn't do much with the Abomination case. She got him off, but we now know why Abomination was fighting in that one scene in 10 Rings, and I always love my Easter eggs, and they circled back to it. But that could have been way more monumental. Abomination was a good character. It kind of fell flat. But, I know the importance of the stuff that you're seeing. But that was minuscule in the waste of time on the Tinder dates and the wedding.
The Easter eggs were, I get it.
The Tinder dates established part of the other episode where she's fighting for her name.
I know, but
the name that she didn't want.
It's weak.
Who cares?
It's part of it. It's just
the only part that moved any sort of emotion within my human, body here of the whole show was when she was going on a date with the guy. What's his name?
The bald dude.
No, not the bald dude. The guy who seemed to like her. And then he deaded her
Jim.
after.
I think Jimmy or something.
Oh, the one. No, the one who.
The only time I was interested minusculely in the story was when he betrayed her.
Yeah.
And that was the one little tiny thing that was interesting because you could feel the sadness of her. I thought that was interesting, and then that they just moved on. The next thing was crazy. The sex tape.
She didn't move on. The
show moved on. The show moved on. I'm saying it. They had an ember of a good story possibly, and then just next thing. Next thing, next story. That means nothing.
But then that's kind
of what leads into the villain.
That leads into the villain, but that leads into the ending where she's like, "Why do I have 4 different storylines going on in my show right now?" Yeah. And then that's something that we don't like sometimes in movies and stuff. It's there's too much going on.
That's why. That's what made me stop watching.
You guys are admitting that it wasn't good.
No, but I'm on your side. I'm still on the side that this was a waste of my time. So.
Wait, real quick. The show itself, she breaks into the fourth wall, and she goes, "I don't like the way my show is going." So the show, her in the show admits the show is no good, but people are out here saying this is a great show. Yeah. She in the show is I don't like the way my story's going. It makes no sense. Isn't she saying this is not a good show?
And people like us on Twitter are getting called sexist.
The show itself tells you not a good show. We're gonna real quick do a retcon in the final episode to undo whatever just occurred. But people are no, this is a great show. But the show tells you it's not a good show.
But that's part. So that leads back into So that's what I started looking into. She-Hulk in the comics and stuff breaks the fourth wall. So one thing that I hope to come from it, I know it's a little side note, but Daredevil and have Daredevil and She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall, and Daredevil like kind of like, no, this is my thing. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But
wait, Daredevil breaks the fourth
not
wall.
I'm sorry,
Deadpool.
Deadpool. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, so my issue with breaking the fourth wall is Ryan Reynolds is really good at it.
Yeah.
She's not.
Yeah.
I didn't see a problem with it.
I don't like.
I don't see a problem with breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, I do.
No, I don't. Because I understand that's part of Marvel Comics. There's people who can, and and Deadpool really that's a really important part of his character. Ryan Reynolds does it way better than she does.
Oh no, I'm not going to deny that part.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say her as maybe I'm being harder on her because the writing is bad, and Ryan Reynolds is a genuinely funny person.
Well, he's a comedian.
Yeah. So maybe because I don't know that she's a funny person or it's poorly written, it's not done well. It's not good.
It's not.
So another way I wanted to look at her show is like when she goes to Emil's like hideaway or whatever, his camp.
Yeah.
And you get all those like B-list
Which
or
drove
D-list
me nuts. Yeah.
But it's not essentially to introduce them for like, you know,
it's not. It doesn't mean anything. It's not serious. They're just trying to make you laugh. It's pointless. You're wasting your time. None of it matters. That's what I'm telling you. You're here making the case for me. It's not. It's just
expanding.
For fun.
Expanding the universe. Yeah. Showing you there's more than just, here's the Avengers that fight Thanos and Loki and these people. This is what else is going on in the world. Because not only do you have Jen becoming She-Hulk, you have her clients, like the Invincible Man, the guy, or whatever the hell he was called, the guy who couldn't die when she was like litigating with all of his like ex-lovers and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you just introduced another mutant into the MCU. So that's like a big deal. And then that's why even in the last episode when she's sitting there, she's like, when are we going to have like the X-Men? And then like you get Kevin, a.k.a. Kevin Feige. I think one of the best lines, and I was talking to Joey about this too. He's like, I'll kill you or I'll die before you can go see Kevin or whatever. But I think it's more about like, hey, we could have a show like this. We don't need... And she made the point. She's like, "Why does everyone have daddy issues?" She's like, "Tony Stark, daddy issues. Thor, daddy issues."
That is called the deconstruction of legacy characters. So yes, that's what anything that's woke tries to do. Yeah, you might think it's funny, right? But that's what anything woke tries to do. It's you have a character or a traditional valued character that you really like. They're now because like it doesn't fit the times anymore. They'll go and retcon that person and they'll make fun of Captain Rogers having sex and they'll say, Iron Man had daddy issues. Like they'll belittle them and make them out to not be as great as they once were. Like
the Captain America one, though, that was funny.
I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm not saying it's not funny, but like Steve Rogers is like a revered, honored character, and they're like bringing thought behavior to his character. It's like disrespectful to the character, and that's what they do to all the legacy characters, especially if they're white guys. I'm sorry, it has to be said.
They're not doing it to T'Challa.
Right. And that was a great character. Everyone will agree. That was a great character. I'm so invested and I'm so excited about the next movie because, like, it's going to be so hard to replace such I'm interested to see if they can meet the challenge of replacing a great character. I'm really annoyed because they kind of like already teased that they are going to.
No, yeah, we already know who it is.
So, well,
there's definitely
there's supposedly there's going to be a twist. There's going to be supposedly there's going to be a big twist. Supposedly, allegedly.
But I liked what you were saying before.
Yeah.
And I still understand where you're coming from because of the importance of it. But this was still a waste of time. But
well, did you guys? I know we're doing.
So you're going to talk about. So you're talking now about D-list villains.
Yep.
And so you're talking about street level stuff.
Yep.
And Spider-Man is going to be the king of the streets. And
maybe.
that's. I think they already could pretty much confirm that. Right. But there's also a conspiracy that Thor and the Guardians weren't on Earth when Doctor Strange did that. So Thor and
they might know.
Thor's going to come back and be like, well, go get the Spider Kid.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, he's a bad guy. Like, no. What are you talking about? We like him. You know?
That would actually make sense because how far does that spell go?
Exactly.
To like every corner of the universe, or just here?
There's another theory too that like Wanda isn't affected by it either because she was in her like little.
That would actually make sense. That would give them the in to get Spider-Man back into the.
But like, so I'm pretty sure Spider-Man is supposed to be the street level guy.
Maybe.
So now we could have Daredevil, we could have Punisher, we could have D-list fucking villains and stuff, and that's all good and stuff. And I guess you needed to start it somewhere. That's what I still think of the show. It was still a waste. My real opinion at the end of the day was, at the end of She-Hulk, Hulk comes back and introduces his son Scar.
Yeah.
It should have been reversed. We should have got the Hulk movie of World War Hulk or Planet Hulk, and Scar be in it as the prophecy, and come back and then be like, "Oh, Jen, meet my son. Oh, blood. She-Hulk has arrived." Like, and then like move forward that way.
Maybe.
Because this still, it wasn't. Okay, so it's
now you have to watch this if you're gonna watch the Hulk movie, right?
You don't
but now like you have to watch something that's not good. They've now, because like they've tied it to another
held you
thing.
Hostage.
They've held you hostage to watch something you don't want to watch, most likely, or you're not gonna, or you might then go and watch, the Hulk movie, and you're like, and now you've seen it, and you're like, I should probably now just go watch She-Hulk. Like at some point or other, they're gonna try and get you back into something.
Well, I think so. Let's go into Daredevil for a little bit.
Yeah,
I think Daredevil was fine. My only criticism of Daredevil was the walk of shame when he's walking. I mean,
that was stupid.
He didn't have
major
any clothes.
criticism.
That one, yes, I agree. I'm like, Daredevil.
What did I say before? Any legacy, traditional character with strong moral values needs to be undone, deconstructed.
Daredevil banged people.
Daredevil had romantic, passionate relationships.
She-Hulk's a little hoe too.
Yeah.
So
banging the Juggernaut.
Yeah. So regardless of the banging, they did well with Daredevil, I think, because they brought him in. At first, she as Matt Murdock in the courtroom. That like he was fine. Like if you have a criticism of him, like he shed on her, like whatever.
Again, I'm not here to watch a lawyer show, but
I get it. But you need that like to introduce whatever. I think it's better that you introduce Matt Murdock first and then Daredevil in the story. Then their little mini fight. She takes off his helmet. Sees it's him. What the hell's going on? Whatever. They save the guy who makes the suits, which I don't like Daredevil's yellow and red. I like the classic.
I don't mind it, but I mean that was his first suit.
It was, but I'm not a fan of it. They gave us the little Daredevil intro jingle when he's like, "I'm Daredevil," and it's like whatever. And I feel like they had like their little lawyer connection thing, and like they can build that relationship of Jen and Matt as a couple. When it came to the fight, they gave Daredevil his hallway scene where he kicked ass.
They shit on it immediately.
Not immediately. They gave him they gave him a little time. He did his work. It was brutal. Like he hit the guy a couple times too while he's on the floor, whatever. And then he's lined up ready to go with the next set of people, and then bam, She-Hulk. But that's more to remind you, like, wait a minute, this is my show.
Right.
Like, you're here.
Of course, right. Of course. This is a woman's show.
Well,
no.
It's her show.
No man is going to steal my moment. But I'm just saying, like,
Daredevil.
Yes. No, you're right. Yes, they had to make sure that they made that point.
But we're going to get 40-something episodes of Daredevil coming. So it's like...
Which is scary.
I doubt it. Is it going to be that long, like the Netflix series, or are they going to do the old 10, whatever?
They supposedly is confirmed that it's going to be 48 episodes that they signed off on.
You mean for like a new series? So.
Yeah.
Oh, they meant like one season.
No. Yeah. Daredevil Reborn or something.
Rebirth. I don't even like the title. Because what does that insinuate? Well, the one before, he wasn't good, right? So now we need to rebirth him and reimagine him more to the modern times.
Yeah. So you give me him, you give me Bernthal coming back as Punisher.
Yeah, you just you just like shiny objects. Feed me, give it to me. Like
I think Bernthal's a great, fantastic, one of the best to play Punisher. Mm-hmm. You don't think Disney would ruin him?
Yeah,
Disney.
He doesn't fit.
Do you understand Marvel? We'll get into a little bit of the Two Doom Men podcast here. Fucking Marvel changed the Punisher's logo because Q and Anons use the Punisher logo, and Marvel doesn't want to be associated with.
Well, we'll see what he comes back with.
Disney.
It's already ruined. It's too late. Politics has infested the character now.
Okay, so you've said your piece. But
here's the other part too. Like Deadpool, they're keeping it as a rated R movie. So.
All right, I'm encouraged by that. Yeah, so
I have my own, comments on that. But
so Daredevil, I think they completely destroyed his character. The suit sucks, so we're right there. I had no problem with him as the lawyer in the thing. That was fine. But Daredevil is Catholic, and it's integral to his character. right? In all what's like some of the best scenes in the Netflix show is that they lean into that his morality system and how like yes, he's Catholic, but then he goes and beats the shit out of people at the end of the night, etc. And yes, he does have relationships and whatnot with people, but they're like super romantic, passionate. Like you understand why he would go against his Catholic values to get with what's her name who plays Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like all these women throughout his like
I think
4 seasons.
There's at least 3 that I can think of.
Right, but it's all like she's
I remember the Karen.
It's Karen, Electra.
Like there's long built up like moments of passion and romance that like lead to him trading on his virtue. Right in this show, they go out to the bar, they get drunk, and they have a fling, and then he does a walk of shame after. If that doesn't tell me like you're just shitting all over.
Oh, they had their fight too.
But I'm just saying, like and on top of the fact that like they tried to make him funny, like when he's fighting and things like that. Like, why does every single character need to be a rehash of Tony Stark and funny? Like, yes, most of them should. That's what makes
that sells to children.
But not every single character has to be that way. I'm not even saying that Matt Murdock doesn't have to be funny sometimes. But now they've like it doesn't feel like the Netflix guy anymore, which leads me to believe perhaps they're going to go with like this is a different multiverse than the Netflix. Thing. And then when you finally get the hallway fight, it was pretty cool for like 14 seconds, and then she crashes through the roof and spoils the moment.
Yeah.
And what makes the hallway fights great is like they extend for a while, and it's like really hard to film that. To do like a 10-minute long rolling shot is really hard. They cut it off. It's like everything that was great about him, they were like, nope, we're gonna like take every Jenga block out up to nothing,
just
to the
give
end.
you enough edge you there.
Until the end when they make him literally do a walk of shame. Like they've now shamed him, and now he has to do it literally. It's even symbolic. It's even symbolic to what they did to his character. Now do the walk of shame and get the fuck out of it. We raped you, and now do the walk of shame.
You ruined the walk of shame for me because I've been on the other side of the fence here. He was OP, which I liked because in the comics he keeps up with Spider-Man. Okay, so jumping the way I thought the CGI was horrendous for him. Bending.
Well, for her, the CGI was horrendous from episode 1 to the end.
When they're fighting.
Yeah, and he jumps off the roof and he like just swings into the window. CGI was terrible. And I get it. Things are expensive, but 1, this is Disney, and 2, you look at a dragon in Game of Thrones and you look at She-Hulk. This is a 5-year-old.
The She-Hulk CGI is inexcusably bad.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yes.
How could you? She's the main character and doesn't look good.
Yeah. The Edward Norton Hulk CGI is better than, and that's like a 15-year-old movie.
Abomination was okay. I think. Like I don't really.
They didn't show him much in it.
Yeah.
Right. The Hulk was great again. Mark Ruffalo was. When he was the Hulk was fine.
Yeah. Still a tiny Hulk.
He is small.
Yeah. Which is okay because it's their universe and stuff. But fuck, where was I going with this now? Oh, Daredevil. I didn't mind the suit because it was a callback to the first one. It was his suit from Netflix, just yellow and red.
Yeah.
And whereas in the comic it was more like pajamas. Like it wasn't a good jumpsuit. I'm not. Yes, the all red suit and the all black and red suit. Those two are dominant. The red and yellow is the dumbest one. But I don't think the suit was terrible. It was a good callback to back in the day. He's OP. He's able to stay swinging from building to building with Spider-Man. I like that. I get the romantic side, but like, dude traveled out to L.A. and he's going to catch some strange. It's
not the way he is. It's a if that's fine if this is a different universe. They even I forgot to mention before, they even deconstructed and retconned his tailor. Right. Yeah. If you remember from the Netflix show, the tailor was like this old grumpy white guy who had like a warehouse with like a fucking a sharpening stool or whatever, and he made the Daredevil's suit there. But now said in this version, it's like a boutique with a gay black guy. No offense, he was actually pretty good. His character was done well. He was one of the best. But like I'm just saying, like they've retconned what was like a gritty.
Well, maybe that guy died.
Manly thing, and replaced it with like. And you want to tell me who made the new Daredevil suit? The new guy, like the boutique.
Yeah. And you want to tell me we're not wasting time, bro? We spent an episode saving the dressmaker.
Right.
Oh boy, the world is saved, everybody! I can wear a dress to the gala.
It was 5 minutes.
That's what they were. That's what the mission was.
But it was to connect. them.
It's a whack mission. This is the fucking.
It's the way
She-Hulk.
the way they brought them together.
Okay, I can put aside the woke shit.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that we're in a new Marvel era. We're used to the cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Us especially are used to the cartoons. Older generation is very used to the comic books. There's the toys. There's the stories. There are all these things that are already written in stone. But I won't even say Steve Rogers. I got to use Batman, but like Bruce Wayne has been 35 for 80 years. Mm-hmm. And in a comic book and a cartoon, you can do that. Chris Evans isn't going to be 35 for the next 20 years.
The actors are going to age.
So I am perfectly fine with understanding that we, as most of our life, got Tony Stark and, Chris Evans as Captain America, and now we need to move on. And fine, they're switching everybody up with women, because I'll tell you, if it fails, they're going to change it right back up. Right? They'll have people come back.
They've already begun. Yeah,
for a natural transgression of the Hulk, with Mark Ruffalo aging, even though it's a CGI character, would be the She-Hulk or Scar.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm fine with the She-Hulk. But this is our next Hulk. You already nerfed our fucking Hulk. Now you're wasting our time, and we're saving...
Theoretically, this is supposed to be the replacement of that Avenger.
So in the last episode, I understand the significance of her busting out of the loading screen. This is a Hulk that is so strong. She's strong enough to not only speak through the fourth wall, but punch through the fourth wall. You give us one of the strongest Hulks ever, we're saving dressmakers and we're going on dates? But are you fucking kidding me? It's a waste of time.
But she's not at that point yet, and that's what the show is. It's about bringing her to that point.
It took
Matt
too long,
Murdock was the one. Daredevil was the one that brought that to her.
Fine, I
you
get
need to do it both ways.
I get it, but you still wasted a minimum of 6 episodes. 3 hours of my time was wasted.
So how do you...
but think of this. Think of this now. So now we're in a new phase of the Marvel era, right? And you're ready and you're invested to move forward in this phase, right? Yes. In phase 1, tell me what 3 hours of that was a waste of your time.
The second Thor movie.
I'll fucking give you that one. All right, fair enough. But do you see what I'm saying?
No,
it took me a minute to think that.
But now here's the thing. I get what you're saying, the 4 hours, whatever it is in total, of it wasted your time. But how can they go from, here, you have powers? Okay, now here you're here. Like,
that's fine. That's fine, but I still don't agree that she even earned her powers.
Right, she should have went on a hero's journey you're now worthy of the power. Just like occurred in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It was a poor story.
Story arc. That point you just made was brought up at the end with the intelligentsia guy. He's like, oh, she didn't earn it.
Which they knew their story sucks. So they wrote it into the story to give themselves cover because they knew people like me and Chris, dudes, are going to actually... I'm not even joking here. They know we're going to do podcasts and criticize it because it's not good, right? It doesn't follow good story structure.
The show's story...
Wrote storyline armor into the show. Because they didn't know what else to do.
The story was based on fan baiting.
Yes, it really was. The entire
thing of the story was the fan baiting.
They wrote it into the story itself, literally.
They did.
There was multiple times where she referenced haters online, whatever. Yeah. I think they said incels one time
on
also.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Like that was the same episode.
That's
on top of the fact that the people who most consume this product, like superhero stuff, is dudes. That are like that. But it's just an interesting. Forget about the ideological aspect of it. It's an interesting business model to take where it's like those are your customers, and you're like, yeah, fuck you. I don't like you. You're wrong. You're bad. You're the worst.
We're the new bad boys on the block.
Now buy my stuff.
Or was it more of we know you're not going to like this, so we're going to make fun of it and
why not make it
into a comedy?
It's still a waste of time. At the end of the day, if it was what you just said it is, we just paid for a month of Disney Plus to
for
be pranked.
1 episode and a half.
To be pranked.
Yeah.
I'm not paying Disney to prank me. I'm paying Disney to entertain me better than anyone else can on this planet.
With good stories, right, that are interesting and
and trust me, okay, so now I'm going to have a big pet peeve. Who the fuck is this? Who's playing Scar? Scar is supposed to be this savage nut job, and Hulk cured him in, a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Well, we don't know how long he was gone, but whatever.
Answer me this.
Yeah.
So, is what the mission that Hulk goes on, is that Planet Hulk or World War Hulk? Because what I understand World War Hulk to be is when the Illuminati tricked the Hulk to go into outer space, that's when the Civil War takes place, and that's when Planet Hulk takes place. Planet Hulk is an amazing story.
Yes, so Planet Hulk is when he goes to the prison planet or whatever
before Ragnarok.
Yes, and he takes over.
Yes,
and then he comes back to Earth, and he was like, "You guys wanted to fuck me before?"
Yes, that's World War Hulk, right?
Yeah,
where he tries to kill Tony Stark.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not going to happen now.
Right, Tony Stark's gone.
Tony Stark's dead. Yeah, so maybe
it'd be a different
is this going to be
interpretation.
World War Hulk on the original planet?
I don't know. We got to see where they go with it because
now the story it might be its own story. It might be mixed up.
I think it might be mixed in with Thor Ragnarok because he was the
now
Hulk.
the She-Hulk is prior to Thor.
No. I'm not saying
She-Hulk's prior.
No,
to
but
Endgame.
he's older. But the kid, he's not a baby. So his son, you don't know how old he is because he's in his Hulk form.
Okay,
so he could be 20, 30. We don't know.
Fair. And we have to remember, MCU is 5 years ahead of us.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, getting back to the actual She-Hulk itself, I didn't even...
That's part of it.
That's part of it, but you guys are not just speculating. Getting back to my criticism of She-Hulk, I don't even like the breaking the fourth wall stuff. Number one, she doesn't have any magical powers. How does she just break the fourth wall? Because she's stronger. Like, that's a magic power? It's not. That makes no sense. It would make sense if Doctor Strange or Wong, someone who has mystical, magical powers, could see through the multiverse. And we live in one of the multiverses.
Doesn't.
That makes no sense either, in my opinion. And I'm okay with these things happening in the comic books because that's different. But when you're trying to translate it to screen, it doesn't make sense.
Wait,
so I don't like her. What?
Did you not like the Deadpool movies?
I did, but they were disconnected from the MCU.
Okay, fair
which
enough.
is it's its own different thing.
Them in their own entity.
It's its own different
thing. They were made by Fox at the time. That's
yeah, right. But now you're saying they're going to bring that in. But whatever, it's not getting into Deadpool.
With Deadpool 3.
What was I going to say? Damn it, I lost my train of thought now. Fuck.
You didn't like the fourth wall.
Okay. Yeah, she don't have any power. It'd make more sense for a mystical person or like the Watcher to break through the fourth wall. Right? That would actually make sense. She has no power. And then just when she comes out of the Disney Plus menu, it's like, what's going on here? She goes then into
that's
the real
a
world.
Significant part.
But she goes into what? The real world and sees her the writers, who are admitting, and even in that scene, this is not a great show.
Let me put it to you this way, if it could kind of connect. You know how the Flash could run so fast, he could run into a different universe?
Right.
This Hulk is so strong, she could force her way into a different universe.
That makes no sense. They're physically strong. I don't understand this. They're trying to say she's magically...
Cosmically strong.
That makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense. It hasn't been explained.
But the Incredible Hulk's superpower isn't super strength. It's to always be stronger than his opponent.
That wasn't explained though, as the reason.
In the comic
the reason
book.
How she's that's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
But that's not what the show says. The show gives no explanation. True. It's just she just leaps out of your screen and goes to an algorithm that's supposed to be Kevin Feige. Yeah. And Kevin Feige, I think the algorithm. I'm not saying it was awful because it's he's showing that everything this robot does is what happened. Yeah. So wait. Everything I just watched doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Even to the MCU, it's like Marvel Studios is in the MCU itself, and you've just been watching them make a movie. None of the stuff actually really happened. It's all fake, and this is just shitting on it. That's the way I look at it. Go ahead, what?
It's The Boys. You know how in The Boys universe, studios hire Homelander to create Homelander 5. the kidnapping of May or whatever, right? They're trying to make it like that, where she's coming into the real world and we're doing PR for her and all that shit.
It's like Inception within the MCU.
But to connect two things you guys said, you said last night, if you don't get it, you don't understand the Marvel Universe that well. That's just the fucking problem. Not everybody understands it the way me and you use it. And you don't either. So, like, me and Jerry understand the significance of a Hulk being strong enough to break into our world or whatever. But to people who don't, on top of a nonsensical show, this is more nonsense.
Yeah. So what you guys know, you're saying she's just her stronger because you watched the comic, right? All right. That's so unexplained in this, like to someone who and who's read She-Hulk. I'm gonna be honest with you boys, not many people. Definitely, it's definitely
not as many people who have read the Hulk.
Right. Yeah. So let's just put it that way. Like, not many people know that, and I'm gonna sit here and tell you, like, that's still just dumb. No, like, she's so strong she could go through the multiverse. It makes more sense if you're saying Doctor Strange or Wong have these powers that they could break the floor,
they make the little portal, or whatever.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's just
But then one thing,
on top of it being woke, this has nothing to do with it being even woke.
Remember, we don't even need to get into that.
At the end too, with the Feige, Kevin.
Okay, wait, one more point. Even with the algorithm, with the Feige algorithm, she starts criticizing all the things that happen in most movies, and even in her own show, where she's like, the whole Bruce comes back. We don't need to hear from him. Who cares? Like, this is my show.
For the movie.
And then later on, like 2 minutes later, they still bring Bruce back with Scar and do the exact same thing. She just said she was going to write out of the season finale. Right. So, like, they're so bad at writing a show, they forgot a thing, a plot driver they just put in 2 minutes before. They just did the exact same thing. Hold on,
because you got to go back to that when she's talking to Kevin, and Kevin's like, "No, you get one thing. Like, you're not changing everything," and he's like, maybe we get you ready for like a feature or something. She's like, what, really? I can be in a movie? He's like, no, you're not going to be in a movie. He's
right, because the show sucks and her character sucks. And the show keeps telling you it's not good. No, you're not going to be in a movie. Definitely no one liked this. I'm literally telling you, the show tells you guys it's not good.
Which makes it a waste of time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a waste of time.
All right.
But
give us your final thought.
One quick thing, again, with just Kevin, like with the Hulk thing. He was saying something about Hulk, and then she's like, no, I don't want to know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll save it for the next thing. So then I think that's more of Kevin's rebuttal of, I told you you're not changing everything. I'm still putting this in, but whatever. And Daredevil falling out of the sky.
You're stupid.
I was like, all right. I was like, you needed to do that, really? You could have just had him walk over as Matt and be like, hey, what's up?
Stupid.
I get that, you want them together at the end because they want them to have a relationship. That's fine.
I still am amazed that, they sell every female character short. They truly do. The Miss Marvel movie, Captain Marvel movie, whatever, was horrendous. Miss Marvel was good, but forgettable, but still better than She-Hulk. Black Widow, they didn't even put it, they fucked her over. They screwed her over on her contract, on her own movie. The female movie we've all been wanting, you fucked her over on it, and I fell asleep through that shit. And now you give us the She-Hulk, and you write into the story that it's all a big joke and it's a bad show.
Yeah.
They fuck over every female character.
And let's be real too, like, they fucked over a strong female character by just starting it off on episode 1 and be like, she's better and she's stronger just because she's a woman. Just because.
Oh, no, yeah, I hate it.
Right? So that took away took away the hero's journey of a woman going through, a hero's journey of becoming the Hulk and earning her powers, and it being like, you see, even a woman can go through the hero's journey and learn to wield the power of being a Hulk. No. All women are just better than men, so she's automatically better. Instead of putting you through the paces of a good fucking story, which they didn't do.
Which now, if season 2 is the hero's journey, furthers my point that season 1 is a waste of time.
Well, no, but at the end, remember when she's being interviewed,
they might do that just to retcon, but sorry.
No, I think that's it. They're not going to go back and. Like, now, moving forward, her last words were, like, oh, how you're supposed to do something. I forgot the exact thing, but she was like, as She-Hulk or as Jen Walters? And she's like, both. So, Now she understands that she's both. She's She-Hulk.
I can compare it to like Daenerys Targaryen, right? Like she starts off as like a weak young girl, and before they ruined her at the very end, over the course of the seasons, she became like a powerful, badass woman. Who earned it, right? And every fucking person loved that character, regardless of the fact that she was a woman or not, because she earned being a badass, which is like merit. Merit-based systems are good. And everything in society right now, if you want to get real ideological quick, is against merit-based. And it's all like identitarian nonsense bullshit. I do think that's not going to last very long. And a lot of this stuff was made during COVID and all that stuff. So like this is what they were making. And now that it's like definitely not as popular anymore, they're going to be like, oh man, we better make not woke
They're eventually going to lose money.
Right. There's a delay. One of my buddies told me like there's a delay between like when you film something and then when it goes to you. So like if culture and things are different when it's being filmed, it won't translate.
We are going through a cultural change,
especially with COVID. Like there was
that's why everything does
a long period in between.
Too.
So
all right, so
I'll close it up.
Yeah, let's. What's your rating?
Rating? 6.
6. Okay.
6. Why? Because you know that I don't like rating things high, and a 5 is like meh. Like, I liked it for the 6 because it gave me, and I know you don't like it, but it gave me some points for the future of the MCU. Obviously, they acknowledged X-Men coming.
They've already done that.
But I'm like so straight out, just X-Men. Like, oh, are we getting the X-Men? And he's like, no, not yet.
So worried.
We know the Hulk is going to finally get something going on with his son and everything. We got Daredevil back. I think everything's moving in the right direction, and it just gave us little bits and pieces just to keep us together while the next thing comes out, which is going to be Black Panther. And then that's it. Like, then we're in the next phase. All right. I'm ready for the next phase. I have basically
the almost complete opposite opinion.
6.
I'm going to give it a 0. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's literally you're saying like things are bright ahead. No, this could be the end of the MCU. Like, things are going downhill.
MCU died with Iron Man.
Quickly, things are going downhill. Like, in rocket ship speed, they're going downhill. Unless they realize, like, and they just about-face right away. Like, Multiverse of Madness was not good. This was the worst thing I've ever seen.
For this stuff,
Moon Knight was okay. But, like,
Moon Knight was good.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, everything else is not... Name something... A lot of people... I like Love, Thunder...
I like Love and Thunder, yeah.
I liked it, but a lot of people didn't like it for some reason. But
that was meh to me.
Anyway, this was really woke, obviously. She didn't earn her powers. She, they just, like, they don't even take themselves seriously anymore. Like, I don't even know if what I watched up to this point is real anymore because it came out of an algorithm on a screen within the movie.
Oh God!
You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what this just did. It just blew up the MCU, and it wasn't even entertaining. And the CGI sucked. Like, on top of all that.
Yeah, I am giving it a solid 2. 2 because it had 2 good episodes. Okay, episode 8 and 9 were decent. I understand where you're coming from with it. But everything before that was rough and haggard, and it was woke. And listen, I think personally, for someone who's very opinionated, something that we're immersed in constantly, and when you're immersed in something like politics as much as you are, it wears you the fuck out.
Yeah.
I was able to put the woke shit aside.
Me too.
Every male character was some dumb coward playboy
goof, right? Second rate compared to all the women in the show. It's so right there in your face.
I put that aside. It was still poor writing. Nothing that held my entertainment and my attention until the final 2 episodes, which it's still just another slap in the face that we finally get 9 episodes. You crammed the whole story into 2 episodes, and in those 2 episodes, you tell us this is an algorithm. I think the amount of money they've made on Disney Plus has ruined Disney. That, like, they overplayed their hand with Star Wars and gave us garbage. And if you look at Rogue One, which was fantastic, probably one of the absolute better Star Wars movies made in a long time. And then you look at Han Solo, and even the Kessel Run, the whole thing that made him famous wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You overplayed your hand, and here we are overplaying our hand.
Have you watched Andor yet?
No,
I've heard it's good.
That's based off of Rebels, right?
No, it's the prequel to Rogue One.
Yeah. Let's not go.
Okay.
Let's not go
No,
off
I'm
the
just
rails
saying.
here.
Then I could get into it.
Yeah.
I thought it was the after effects of the Rebels kid growing up.
No, it's right before Rogue One.
Okay.
Also, the one other thing too. Did you guys get to watch Werewolf by Night?
Very good.
No.
MCU.
I will.
Very good.
A different part of the MCU.
I gotta say, watch it. Maybe we'll talk about it for the Halloween episode or something.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was
pretty
fantastic
good
as well.
I like where the spooky stuff is going, like the Eternal verse with Blade, and this guy, I guess, could kind of be part of that. Moon Knight. That stuff I find interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Again, how the same thing with She-Hulk when I was saying like it's a different part. It's just a different
I get
part.
it, but then you know what? Then there's going to be too many different parts. There's going to be the dark part. There's going to be the street part. There's going to be the Avengers part. But that's where people.
If you can't keep up too, right? If
Yes.
you can't keep up, like because you have stuff to do, and there's too many things to watch, then you start to lose like your investment in the thing.
I get that part too.
That's what I was just going to say. If you try and buy the comic books, now you like Ninja Turtles, so Ninja Turtles has story A, B, and C in 3 different time zones. Cool, you keep up with that monthly. But now, if you're into Marvel, you got 4 or 5 different street level comic books you have to buy monthly or weekly. 4 or 5 Dark Side comic books. 15, 16, 17, 18 Avengers side stories.
When I was collecting comics, I was getting like 20 a week almost at one point.
There you go. That is too much. And they could do the same.
Marvel, Batman. Yes. 5.
They could do the same. They could end up doing overselling it.
They could.
With the series, with the movies, and then what are we going to have a new Disney thing every week, every month? You're going to overplay your hand, and it's going to be.
Don't forget, like we have other things to watch too, like not just their content. So like they end up competing against themselves.
But no, when you're a business entity, you're like, I want you to watch my stuff 24.
You're not going to. You end up competing against yourself.
I feel like the shows are going to stay to maybe 3 or 4 a year. We'll get 1 or 2 specials a year, like Werewolf by Night is only like almost an hour.
That's a lot of stuff, yeah.
And then a couple of movies a year.
That's a lot of stuff.
Well, we'll see.
I just want to say that this makes Rings of Power look like Shakespeare. I
haven't watched yet.
Hate Rings of Power. This makes it look great. Compared
supposedly
to
it ends great. I don't know.
Well, I only stopped watching because there's one.
We're going into
let's not get into that. I just wanted to say that that's how bad this was.
House of Dragon's fantastic.
House of Dragon is poetry in motion. So that's
all right.
Yeah.
Doom Nation. I hope you guys liked this lengthy review that we just
almost
did.
An hour long.
Berating.
Yeah. We were passionate about this one. It was a good debate. Thank you, Mr. JPlay, for coming on. Check him out, reviewing some cigars. I'm sure we'll get a couple of those out there soon. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Peace out.